to, what we know is the pressure cooker of the Ryder Cup, and they've turned out to be the superstars of the tournament so far. So to break up, well, not break up, but to fit both of them in the afternoon yesterday was really a strange move.
It was beyond belief. They should be playing together, and they were talking. I don't know if they're going to win this afternoon. I don't know who they're playing against. Right now, the USA is down 6.5 to 5.5. Certainly, that's not insurmountable. It's almost a push.
Right.
But they need to do better. Is it in the foursomes? Is that what it's called today?
Foursomes was this morning. That is the.
So it's 4-ball.
I'm sorry, your 4-ball was this morning. That's where everyone plays their ball, and the better score between the two counts. Foursomes is this afternoon, and that's what we call alternate shot.
Why don't they call the morning thing Nassau?
Maybe that sparks thoughts of betting. Who knows?
I don't know. But anyway, listen, I am, what was the name of the guy who won the FedEx Cup?
Oh, gosh. Billy Horschel.
Why wasn't he on the team?
Well, I think that's something that the U.S. team's going to look at.
Webb Simpson's been playing horrible. He was horrendous yesterday.
I know. I think the U.S. has to look at their selection process. They cut off the automatic points race for the Ryder Cup at the conclusion of the PGA Championship, which is it's in August, and then they have, I believe it's 2 or 3 weeks before Watson makes his captain's pick, but that's before the FedEx Cup is decided. And you're right, you have Billy Horschel, who was the hottest player in the world, who's sitting at home watching it. You have Chris Kirk, who was probably the second hottest player in the world. He's sitting home watching it. I think they have to extend the deadline until, and make not only the FedEx Cup, make it worth the $10 million, but add the pressure of making a Ryder Cup to it. And that way you get the hottest players at the right time.
Well, the FedEx Cup champion, how could he not be on the team?
It's just simply that
to run that gauntlet and win that tournament requires just tremendous play over what, a 4-week period at the end of the year?
Yeah, and his last 3 weeks he finished second, first, and first. So, that's a guy I want one on my team for sure.
And he picks Webb Simpson,
right,
who was playing horrible. And I'd be honest with you, although he played well to this morning, I'm not so sure Hunter Mayhem was a great pick. The USA has been doing poorly in the Ryder Cup, and that's an understatement. And it's the same names there all the time that ain't getting it done. Now, if they're in the top 10 or the top 10, I think that's how it works, so be it.
9, right.
Yeah, so be it. I mean, Furyk, the guys, everybody in the top 10, but it's not happening. And by putting Bubba Watson with Simpson, and Simpson played so bad, it kind of took Bubba Watson out of the tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why Webb Simpson was a pick, is because, let's face it, Bubba Watson's a little bit different. He has a little different personality. He and Webb Simpson get along very well. They're friends. They have a lot of the same interests. I think that Simpson was a pick because Tom Watson knew that was someone he could put with Bubba Watson, every time they went out. But to not have Billy Horschel on that team, I think it's a fault.
And I'll tell you what else. This is what bothers me. Most of the guys on the team, although they've earned it, have been losers. Look at their records. All right, look at Furyk's record. Is it 7-10, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, something around there.
I mean, they've been losers. They haven't won. Now you bring in fresh blood. Even look, Ian Poulter in 2 days made 1 shot. He shouldn't have been on the team. I mean, he was on the team for spiritual reasons.
Right.
Exactly. But these guys, I can't believe Watson didn't take the young blood. You watch Jordan Spieth and Jimmy Reed. They have about as much nervousness about this tournament. I've never seen such calmness and great play. And the 3 young guys, is this Jimmy Walker's first tournament?
Yeah, Patrick.
He's Patrick Walker. He's playing great.
Yeah, if you look at the 3 stars of the U.S. team right now. It's three rookies. It's Jordan Spieth, it's Patrick Reed, and it's Jimmy Walker. They've all played fantastic.
And certainly Ricky Fowler seems to be the fulcrum of the team.
Absolutely, and he's only 25 years old, so you're definitely looking at, the quote-unquote inexperienced guys are the ones that are coming through.
What's going to happen to this? I mean, I picked Europe to win. I didn't see how America could win. The talent on the European front is so much better. But as it goes on, you get emotionally involved. And I can't make an honest statement here. What do you think? I mean, you still got to see Europe winning this thing, don't you?
Yeah, I think Europe's definitely the favorite. I mean, they are in the lead leading into this afternoon's matches. A couple matches are on the course right now. Even if it stays close, when you look at the singles matches, the strength of the European team, plus being at home, you have to give them the nod. But like so many other Ryder Cups, momentum is such a huge part of it. The U.S. still has a very good chance, but I would, if I'm betting on it, I'm picking Europe every time.
Why is the USA having trouble with this format of the alternate ball? I mean, they were horrible yesterday.
Yeah, the only thing that I can look at in 4-ball play or better ball play, the guys play their own ball. A guy with a really solid short game can still compete. When you get to the alternate shot, you have to strike the ball well. And I think when you look at the European team, I mean, 4 of the top 6 players in the world are Europeans. So I think Europe has the better ball strikers right now. And when you're playing alternate shot and you and I are partners, if I'm hitting the ball into the trees all day and you have to play it, that makes it pretty tough. Where the Europeans are just striping it down the middle and hitting it on the green, and they're making it easier than what the Americans are making.
Well, certainly here I'm looking at the first matches. Donaldson and Westwood versus Zach Johnson and Matt Kuchar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Zach Johnson and Matt Kuchar, you couldn't get 2 steadier players in that, could you? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it's a great team.
And Sergio and McIlroy against Furyk and Mahan.
Right.
Martin Keimer and Justin Rose. Justin Rose has back problems or something?
Henrik Stenson has back problems. That's why they broke up Rose and Stenson.
Okay, well, that might be a big break for you. Although replacing with Martin Keimer is not really a break.
It's a pretty good team, and Justin Rose has been the superstar of the Cup so far.
That's your buddy. That's your buddy.
Yeah, as much as I'm pulling for the U.S. to win, I love seeing Rosie play well. I don't know if you saw that match this morning, but Rose and Stenson birdied their last 10 holes.
I heard.
It was unbelievable, and they still only won 3 and 2.
Who they beat the first one?
They were Kuchar and who were they?
Was it Bubba?
Sorry, Kuchar and Bubba Watson. Yes, exactly. And they played great.
Yeah, that great enough.
Yeah, but Justin's been great so far.
Yeah, I mean, is he 3-0? He's 3-0, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to play all 5 matches. So personally, I'd like to see him go 5-0, but still have the U.S. win.
So they sat Poulter in the afternoon, which I expect because he's playing so bad.
Right. And that's a perfect example of what I mentioned just a minute ago. And as much of a gritty competitor as he is in the 4-ball format, to put him out there in alternate shot, he just doesn't hit it that well. His short game's phenomenal, but he runs the risk of putting his partner in some tough spots.
If I would have told you that on day 2 Mickelson wasn't going to play, what would you have thought?
I wouldn't have been shocked. To play 5 matches is a lot. Let's face it, he hasn't had a wonderful year. Maybe he needs the rest this afternoon, but
I thought they might have found a way to put Keegan.
I would have too. Evidently they just don't want to play either of those guys with anyone else. Obviously I'm not in the team room. I don't know what the dynamic is, but it seems like those 2 either play together or they don't play at all. And it happened in the last Ryder Cup as well. They sat on Saturday afternoon.
All right, here's a question for you tomorrow. I guess a lot depends on what happens this afternoon, but it looks like barring another whitewash by the Brits, by the Euros, that it will be somewhat close going into tomorrow, maybe a point. What's your strategy? Do you lead off with the Mickelson, or do you save him for last? Or is Ricky Fowler your last player? Or how do you look at it?
I think you front load the lineup, meaning you put your hottest players out early, assuming that the U.S. is going to need points, and I think they probably will. I think you try to get the hot players out early, and then you save one or two of the veteran guys. And again, I look at Mickelson, certainly. I look at Kuchar and maybe Furyk to play in that last spot, just in case it comes down to that. I would say Phil. You know, he's won 42 tour events. He's, way more than anyone else on the U.S. Lineup. I think you save Phil for last, but you put all the other hot guys out early.
I do believe this. If the USA loses again, all right, which I sure hope it doesn't happen, you're going to see an entirely different USA team in 2 years.
I do too. I think you're looking at you're starting to phase out some guys. Mickelson doesn't have that many left. Furyk doesn't have that many left. I think they look at changing the selection process again, and I think you're going to see a lot of young guys on the next team if they don't get it done this year.
It should be 8 and 4. It should be the top 8 players and then 4 alternates. For Europe too. You leave out guys. Now, your buddy Westwood, he was selected. That was a little controversial because he hasn't been playing that well.
Right.
And although he's always up there in the majors, but Ricky Fowler to me might be that last guy tomorrow.
Could be.
Minus his one duff of that chip, but that was a tough chip.
It was. It's what you can't see on TV, and we've all had that shot. It's a very tight lie off a down slope. And then you add in the pressure of it and Poulter gaining momentum and everything. That's a hard shot, but certainly you don't expect him to duff it.
I was on the air watching his last putt. That last putt was for the win, right? For Ricky Fowler.
Right.
He didn't miss by much.
He didn't miss by much, and how about the shot he hit in there? 3-wood out of the rough where he cut it up. That's a phenomenal shot.
Yeah.
He's a big-time guy.
Well, he was great in the last Ryder Cup or the one, but was the last one or the one before?
The one before, when he was very young, and he was facing another friend of mine, Eduardo Molinari, and was 4 down and 4 to play, and birdied the last 4 to have the match. So that was kind of the beginning of Ricky Fowler.
Wow, Pat, I can't believe it's been 15 minutes already. Listen, what?
Time flies when you have fun, right?
Yeah, I couldn't wait to talk to you, that, but you could see my frustration yesterday when I was texting you.
Yeah, I knew it.
And wow, it was just very aggravating. All right, let's talk about what's going to happen. How do you see it going?
I see it. Unfortunately, I do see Europe gaining a little momentum back this afternoon. I think they probably get 2.5 points out of this afternoon, which is going to make it really tough for tomorrow. This is always interesting, and like I said, I think Tom Watson's going to have to put his hot guys out early and try to get some momentum, try to get some U.S. flags up on that board, silence the crowd. The silence can be deafening, if you know what I mean, over there. When you're the away team and it's quiet, good things are happening.
Look, they haven't won over there since '93.
It's been a long time.
It's not a good sign for what's going to happen. The only thing I can tell you is they should get some inspiration, the United States team, if they are behind, from what happened in Medina. They were up 8-4 and lost. It's almost impossible.
Right, and we've seen it twice now. We had the '99 Ryder Cup, which was so famous. We were down 10-6, and then the same thing in Medina, just on the other side. So, once these things happen once or twice, all of a sudden they don't look as insurmountable. But with this European team, it's going to be really tough. They're loaded from top to bottom.
Pat, that's going to wrap us up. So you see like another 14.5 to 13.5 win for the Euros?
I think it'll probably probably be a little wider margin than that. I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout. I think there's going to be moments tomorrow where we look at the board and still have a chance, but ultimately I say the Europe's probably win by 3 or 4 points.
So I'm not going to be riveted to the TV and miss the Ravens game, right?
You'll flip back and forth.
All right. Well, I'm going to the Ravens game unless it's really nip and tuck. All right. Then
I'll keep you posted, and if you need to race home, I'll let you know.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. This is Bruce Posner. When you select a professional, you always look to the backgrounds of the persons involved, particularly involving their experience, competence, and established performance. In Maryland, there's only one number one leader with regard to personal injury claims. That's the firm of Science & Kirk. Science & Kirk have handled more auto accident cases than any law firm in the history of the state. Donald and his 3 sons make a formidable team representing their clients. Call their hotline 24/7 at 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance. And I just realized, got to bring the TV. Oh, I got that TV up there to watch tomorrow. But I'll be up early to watch the Ryder Cup.
Did you say you were going to skip part of the Ravens game to watch the golf?
No, I said that if it's down to like the final match, because it's going to be right around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock when it ends, that, I would be late to the Ravens game.
All right, that makes sense.
I would be late, although I probably won't be. But, no, this is like it's up there. It happens once every 2 years. And it just gnaws at me that the Euros have dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all Americans. Half of them live in Orlando. The whole thing is a little ridiculous.
Sure.
But it just gets to me.
You got Cam Newton coming into town.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
And yes, I am looking forward to that. I'm looking my new guy now. He replaced Anquine, and that's Steve Smith Sr.
Love Steve Smith.
He has been absolutely fantastic. And I do want to talk a little bit about that great performance by the Washington Redskins the other night, all right?
Oh, that was a joy, a pleasure to watch.
Now, you knew I was going to bring that up, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's head out to our first break. This is Bruce Posner, along with Wayne Viener. You're listening to Koons Ford presents the Sports Maven. We'll be back in a few minutes. Koons Ford presents the Sports Maven, and it's time to talk